But yeah, it's absolutely freezing. So, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, or good night, depending on where you're from. Sorry, I started this and been walking and I hadn't pressed record. I thought I had, but I hadn't pressed record. As I was just saying, well, I thought I'd actually started recording. It is freezing, but it's pure wind chill. When the wind's not blowing, it's not that bad. But the minute the wind blows, holy God, it is cold as hell. Oh, really, just like, even like I'm wearing layers and it's just cutting right through. But when I breathe out, I can't see my breath, which means that in the actual air itself, it's not that cold, it's not that freezing. It's just all purely wind chill. I know that sounds weird to say, but I can't think of any other way of actually describing it. I wasn't expecting this, to be honest. Yeah, that is wicked. So, hope you're all doing well. I hope you had a nice weekend. Mine was okay, it was fine. It was a decent weekend. So, yeah. We start another week. So, the last week in January. January is always that weird month, isn't it? It seems to be longer than any other month, but I mean, it isn't. There are other months equally long. It's not like it's got more days than every other month. But I guess it's like that post-Christmas come down, isn't it? But, yeah. Going to do some back-to-back posts about ghosts, podcast recordings today. Yeah. Not today, well, today and tomorrow. So get them up, get one in the bank. So keep an eye out for them if you're interested when they go up. And I'll think of something to chat about when I get to the park. Gaming wise, there's a couple of games I'm interested in from Microsoft, amazingly enough. But yeah, I'll have a chat about them briefly, as I don't know much, but I'm interested in them, really based on ones I've played before. So anyway, I'll call it there till we get into the park, so we'll see you there, guys. Oh yeah, so Microsoft did their, I don't know what you call it, Maybe they're direct or something or another. Anyhow, yeah, there's a couple of games on there that I'm interested in. First is the new Fable game. I really like the other two, Fable 1, 2 and 3. They never lived up to the Peter Molyneux hype, but then you have to ignore the Peter Molyneux hype because unfortunately he was prone to, well, if I was to say overhyping, that would be very charitable. But yeah, I'm in a good mood, so I'll keep it at just overhyping games. Mind you, I suppose you could argue that was his job. But he did, unfortunately sort of sour the whole thing of the fact that they were actually really good. They just didn't deliver everything that was promised, but it didn't stop them being really good games. Oh, I like them anyway. So we've got a new one of them coming out. I have to say, visually they look very impressive. As usual, I will reserve my my judgment until the game is actually out. But from what I saw, it looked pretty good. And the other one is Forza Horizon 6. I really like the Forza Horizon games. And this promises to be the biggest and best one yet. And again, it does look very, very impressive. Now, whether the game itself delivers on that promise, that remains to be seen. But so far, yeah. I mean, considering I liked all of the others in the series, it would be they'd have to go out of the way, I think, to mess this up to make me not like it. So got a lot of high hopes for that. As long as they don't ruin the driving mechanics in it, it'll be fine. But yeah, I thought it was a couple of games there that I'm quite excited to play that's coming out. And they're from Microsoft. What a rare treat. So we just have to hope that they don't balls it up. I might actually treat my Xbox One to them, you know, give me a reason to turn the bloody thing on. I mean, no doubt these things will come out on other platforms. So, but yeah. I suppose I could get them on PC, but I don't know, I just would like a reason to use my Xbox One. I mean, after all, I bought the bloody thing, I paid money for it. I'd actually like to be able to use it. It would be nice. So come on, Microsoft, don't balls this up. I mean, it's not like you've got an incredible amount of games coming out. My only fear is this going to be it for Playground Games? Once Forza Horizon 6 is out, are they going to follow Turn 10? I mean, if you were working for that studio, it must be a bit of a worry right now. I guess an influential decision in that sense will be how well the game sells. You know, how well it does. I mean, if it's a good game, you know, and you're a racing fan, I encourage you to buy it. You know, if it is a good game and it doesn't sell, Oh, that's going to be the end of Playground Studios, isn't it? That's the way the cookie crumbles these days. Of course, the flip side of it, it could be a poor game. What it doesn't need to do is have loads of glitches and launch with a load of content to come later. Because not so much from the glitches perspective, I don't think, but certainly for this content will come out over the next couple of years factor. I think that's what did in the last Forza game. I think that's what did in Forza Motorsport, to be honest. They should have waited and got more content in that game before they launched it. That seemed to be the main complaint. Forza Horizon 6, doesn't need to follow that model. And the same with Fable as well. I don't want to see locked off content from day one. I want to see a complete experience. I don't mind DLC coming at a later date, but you start this nickel and diming crap, especially if the game has got issues when it launches, you're going to kill it. It seems very clear to me gamers these days have lost their patience for this type of stuff. And, that'll be another studio that'll go by the wayside if that happens. So, the ball's in their court. They know what annoys people. Been in the business long enough. They know what annoys people and they know what people want. So deliver. Don't want excuses. You've had time, so you've got to deliver. You're asking people to pay premium prices for these products, so deliver a premium product. The reality out there is that we're still in the midst of a cost of living crisis, and people are going to be very selective about what they're going to spend their money on. So you need to deliver the product that reflects what you're asking people to pay. It's a very simple thing. So don't be overcomplicating it with the usual nonsense. But anyway, I'm going to remain optimistic. I'm going to remain positive on that. And hope that we get a couple of really good games. There was another one, I can't remember the name of it. It was just those two in particular caught my eye. There was other stuff, but because it's a couple of series that I've really liked, my hope is that they will deliver. The same with the new Gears game. They've got it right by going back to Marcus Phoenix. Don't cock it up. Don't bait and switch. Don't cock it up. You know what's successful? The formula's right there. It's not very difficult, actually, is it, really, when you think about it? When the winning formula's already been laid out. I mean, they put a lot of effort into Gears 5, but it was just a completely unmemorable experience. You can't do a trilogy of games where you invest in a small core of characters and their story and their sort of story that was interesting, and then swap it out for characters that are just not. That's the problem when you do stuff like that as a sequel. When you play, I say, when I played Gears 4 and 5, I was just like, yeah, but I'd rather be Marcus Phoenix. I'd rather it be a continuation of his story, not these new characters that were just, frankly, I just thought were dull. I think it would have been more interesting to have been playing as Old Man, an older Marcus Phoenix. Because you know, the people that played Gears and were fans of Gears from when it come out, strangely enough, those guys get older as well. And so when you tell a story, it resonates with the fans of the original stuff, of which there were many. Hence why those games were successful. This obsession of trying to bring in like new audiences backfires when you completely remove interest from the audiences that were there originally. It just doesn't really work that well. It's like people know what they want, and the fans are always there. You have to grow with the fans, not grow away from the fans. You might as well just make an entirely different game, an entirely different series of games, if that's what you want to do. It literally doesn't work. You can see reboots of games, but if you've got to keep faithful to that character that was there before. So the fans still get the same character. It feels like a continuation of a story rather than like a really abrupt change. And that's kind of what happened, I feel anyway. That's kind of what happened with Gears 4 and 5. More so, I think, when you essentially just resurrect the Locust and they're doing nothing different from what they did in the originals. When you do that, when you reboot that, or not reboot it, but do a sequel, and it's basically the same game, but you just swap the characters around. It's the issue you get with Halo. Master Chief, Cortana. That's what people want. When you start to veer away from that, people don't like it. Anyway. I wish this sodding wind would go away. It's alright apart from that. Actually, the tips of my fingers are frozen. Particularly the one holding this camera right now. Oh. lots of a lot of games I'm hoping will be decent this year. I know all eyes are going to be on Grand Theft Auto 6, understandably, but I don't think that it's enough just to shelve everything for the year, waiting for that. So I hope we get some other good stuff as well. Try and be better. You always get surprise games, don't you, that come along like that. Is it Claire Obscure 30? What is it? That came out. No one really saw that coming, being that as successful as it was. But it was. So you always get games like that that come along. They don't really get the hype until they come out, and then when they do and it's very good. And I like that. I like when those gems get unearthed. I need to get that game. It is on my Steam list, but I've just got so much other stuff I need to get on with at the moment. Just can't keep adding to it. But I will eventually. How are we doing? Not too bad. Well, I haven't really got a lot else really with regards to news. Not really got much at all. Just that. What have I been playing? What have I been playing? Dear God. I did try to make a conscious effort this weekend to try and play something that I've not. And then I noticed last week the original Ridge Racer game had been released. Now this isn't the arcade. This is the PlayStation version. The original PlayStation version of the game. And that was just too much for me to resist. I love that game on the PlayStation. But I tell you what, I used to be able to win all the races in all the cars on that. Well, I was hopeless. Bouncing off cars, bouncing off the walls. It's funny how back then the control system and handling mechanics was something that I was used to, and over the years how they've changed in racing games. And boy oh boy, it was like going back to school and not remembering anything that you'd learned. Like you go back, your desk is the same, the classroom's the same, but what they're teaching you is entirely different. Sorry, I'm just turning me back to that sodding wind. What they're teaching you, that's entirely different. It feels different. And that's kind of what it felt like. It's great playing it, but holy crap, it was hard. It was fun. I'll tell you what you notice though, is the sheer amount of popping that there was on the graphics on those old consoles. like the PlayStation and on the Saturn, draw distance is absolutely woeful. I mean, that's just how it was back then, but holy God, you notice it. Like, there's the bit where you start and there's like a really big building with like a big screen that has like an animation of like Namco stuff on it. And when you round the corner and head towards that thing pops in out of existence. And you're like, mother of God, that is pretty bad. But we were kind of used to it back then, you know. We kind of just accepted that was a thing. But it was really jarring. Really jarring. I just remember thinking like, holy crap, really? Like I think when they did Ridge Racer 2, they improved it quite dramatically. That also is available, and I am kind of tempted, I must admit, but yeah, it was rough. It was rough. Actually, though, the rest of it still looks great. You know, for a game in the sort of early to mid 90s. It was those consoles, that PlayStation was awesome. It really was. I mean, that type of stuff did get better. They improved it. The original Wipeout game had that, but they'd improved it quite a lot by the time you got to Wipeout 2097. It was a lot better. So it was just people getting to grips with the new hardware, and then they started to learn a few tricks. Because what it would have been down to the performance, frame rates. How do you keep the high frame rate, especially in a racing game? So it was about learning the techniques that enabled you to reduce the pop-in. It's about extending the draw distance. And they learned a few more different techniques. But Ridge Racer is pretty much a launch game for the PlayStation, so... But it was mightily impressive. As an arcade conversion from that time, I was really impressed. Really impressed. And it was just nice revisiting that, going back to it. See, I'm torn. Ridge Racer 2 or Ridge Racer Type 4. Now, Type 4 was awesome. I think that is the best Ridge Racer game, personally. I do. It's either that or Rage Racer. But Type 4 was really, really good. What I would like to do is actually get them all. I don't know if Rage Racer is on the PlayStation Store. It should be. That was great. They really opened the series up, actually. It became considerably bigger. I mean, the original Ridge Racer was based on arcade machines. And so there wasn't a big variety in terms of like the circuits and stuff. That was sort of the big criticism of it back in the day, was that There wasn't a huge amount of gaming there. But as the series went on, it got a lot more. That's a series I think needs to come back. The Ridge Racer series. Though today it would be very unrecognisable from its roots. I think the problem you would have with it today probably would fall into the Need for Speed style of games. Maybe even the Forza Horizon games. Because I mean, Need for Speed kind of has fallen off the radar, hasn't it? That's sort of gone away now. I don't know which one it was that looked like it was some kind of artistic perspective. It was like animation. And I didn't really like it from what I saw of it. I've never played it, but I just didn't like the art style. But yeah, I like the old Need for Speed games. The old ones. I mean, remember, like, there was loads, wasn't there? I mean, like Burnout. That went by the wayside. They were fun. Burnout Paradise, I love that. Did actually play that with some of my friends online when it come out. I actually had a lot of fun just driving around, doing the little stunts and just acting daft. It was great. It was a lot of fun. It was a nice big open playground to race around on. I had a lot of fun with that. And then that's sort of gone by the wayside, hasn't it, as well? I think it's sort of got blended together with Need for Speed. That was the problem with these type of games. There's a great racing game that was done by the guys that did the awesome Project Gotham Racing series called Blur. That was a lot of fun, but that ended up, I don't think it sold brilliantly, and that ended up getting consigned to the dustbin of history. I imagine with the studio, is it Criterion Games? They did a James Bond game as well that was alright. Is it the Quantum of Solace game they did? They did a Bond game anyway. That was Bizarre Creations. Criterion was Burnout. Bizarre Creations did the Project Gotham stuff, and then Blur. God, I hope it's called Blur. My brain's gone, I'm telling you. It's frightening, really. I used to be able to remember all this stuff. But yeah, it was Bizarre Creations. Criterion did Burnout, and they were acquired by Electronic Arts, and then have probably been suitably dismantled, as Electronic Arts want to do, and as many of these big studios do. Sony, Microsoft, happens to them all. They get hold of these studios for their IP, and then they dismantle them, which always seems a little bizarre, but hey ho. Oh yeah, I don't really understand why these big companies sat on these great IPs just ignore them. I'd love for Project Gotham to come back, but I don't think it ever will. That was a great series. It's a lot of fun. The problem is with when these studios get disbanded, a company can have the IP and go, yeah, we're going to make it, but the people, make another one. We're going to bring it back, but the studio that did it is gone, and the people have dispersed. They're either at other companies now. They've gone on to do their own thing. That you can't get the band back together again. So the people that made those games, brilliant, that talent is gone. So what do? You can make a new version of the game, but it's another studio that's going to do it. It's another team. And if they can't get to grips with the sort of secret sauce that made the original games what they were, you're wasting your time. You're just using the name. It's like this marathon game that's coming out. It's not Bungie that did the original marathon games way back. It's just using the name. That's all. It's using the name. It's not a remake, a reboot of that original series. They're just using the name. It's just no interest in it. It's not marathon. It's not a marathon game. The marathon game I played was a single-player first-person shooter. Not this. What do they call these games now? Escape something. Escape shooters or whatever. It's just more online stuff. It'll probably bomb as well because it's got a right bad reputation already for all of the stuff with regards to the whole asset issue. Is it using assets without permission? Not a great start. And there are already other games that are like that have been out. What's the point? By the time that game comes out, that genre of game will already be dominated by other games. So you're just trying to muscle into a crowded room. It's like trying to get into an overcrowded lift. The chances are the people in that lift are just going to push you back out again. What's the point? All of that energy, that effort, that expense, all of that time. It would have been more interesting and probably would have generated more interest if you'd have just rebooted the marathon game as it was. Which, done by Bungie, it was a precursor to Halo. Not saying it was a prequel, it was a precursor. But, no, we'll have to see what happens with that, but I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't turn into a giant failure. It'd have been just better off to make something different, do something original. I don't know. But you do see this new Turok game they've announced. Nah, not interested. It's not Turok. It's not what people want. Another multiplayer game. because there's not a billion and one of them. And I've got into it before. Multiplayer games are a time sink. You can't just dip in and out of them to get the best out of them. They saw the success of the re-release of the Turok trilogy, which was single player. Turok 1, 2 and 3. They were successful, they were well received. So you see that success, and then you do a complete 180 and go and release a third person, multiplayer focused game. So who wants that? Why don't you just make a remake of the original Turok? That would have been sensational with modern graphics. But no. And already you just see the comments. Not interested, don't want, gonna be rubbish. Not interested, don't want. Just overwhelmingly negative. Because nobody asked for that. Nobody wants it. But that's what we get. You know, people sat down in a room and they strategized. This is what we know people want. And yet the feedback is, no, they didn't, mate. Nobody wanted it. Nobody wants it. Turn around, there's a few people coming this way. But they'll never learn. There'll be another couple of companies will be gone by the wayside. Bungie will end up just disappearing from existence. Another, legendary studio gave us Halo. Brilliant game. But that, again, a lot of that studio is gone. A lot of those people are probably gone. Talent has been diluted, dispersed. So, yeah. It's not good. It's not good. Anyway. Shame, really, As I said earlier on in this walk, the formula is there. The pathway to success has already been blazed and lit up with signs telling you where to go. But there's a lot of arrogance out there of people thinking I can find a better path. But if you're going to do that, you're going to be lost in the dark quite a lot. You're veering off the path. If you're going to try and discover a new one, you're going to fail. Because that's what happened to the people who made the path originally. That path to success, there was a lot of failure on the way. So you got to be prepared for that. But back in those days, there wasn't the huge financial ramifications. You just went, all right, let's go again. But these days, you can't fail once. You can't. You don't get a second chance. Your studio gets shut down. I know. How many times? This is what we see all the time. Studios getting shuttered because the game that they were working on didn't sell. That's why when things are like they are, you're better to walk the well-worn path until you can get into a position where you can experiment. You got to build up resistance to failure. Anyway, don't mind, I think we'll call it there. I've got shops to go to, so I'll call it there. And yeah, I will hopefully be out tomorrow with another one of these wonderful walkie-talkies. I'm gonna go do what I need to do, and I'm gonna get in the warmth out of this god-awful Arctic wind, which when you just look around, it doesn't look cold, but it really is. That wind is biting. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go home. We're gonna get out of it. I'm gonna be back here tomorrow, hopefully. So I will see you all then.